Good afternoon, guys. As you can see, this review on the game, it's about decision making and awareness, tactical awareness on the field versus the Blackhawks that we must take in consideration for our next matchup with them. As we developed this game, we made a few mistakes of decision making that cost us shots on frame by the Blackhawks, and they were able to counterattack us due to our not making the best decision possible to create the pass of the play. Here in instance, we can see Will's about to receive the ball. He can play short in space to Aiden. Instead, he plays the long ball, which we happen to lose right after it. That almost came back as an attack play on their behalf. So we have to be smarter than this, guys. We cannot give balls foolishly or just play kickball out of the back. Kickball, remember, is when you're in a high tension, high intensity matchup that you have no room to find the open guy on the back. That's when we are to use the long ball immediately. But if we have room, if we have time, we have to have good communication, make good decisions with the ball on our feet, and find the open lane, find the open guy. That way we can build out and we can possess the ball and not give it away too soon to provoke a counterattack on our goalkeeper, especially when we are weak on the defensive side. As we progress forward, we are going to find another instance where we could have made a better decision right now. Once again, our center back has the ball, plays to our 10, but our 10, instead of going deep to the second center back, goes sideways to our 6. Our 6 ends up losing the ball about 10 yards in front of the 18. That could cost us a cleaner shot, but on by our luck, Blackhawks were not accurate during this game, which actually made up for a bunch of our mistakes. We didn't allow them to score, and they didn't score on the chances they had wide open on the net, which that came to our advantage due to their inaccuracy on the passing pattern. Here we are about to see another mental mistake that we done. As the throw-in comes in, we forget our reference and we forget our mark. We have a lonely guy, one of the tallest one on the Blackhawks, heads the ball, and our center backs, instead of moving back to him, move forward, and our wingback never talked to the center back as well to notify him of the mistake that was being made. In another instance, we have another breakdown. Here, number 10 receives the ball. Instead of turning into the space and playing a wingback coming up, he plays a short immediately and loses the ball, causing a counterattack on the Blackhawks. They weren't successful at finding the net, but we need to clean up those mental mistakes and lift our head up. In this instance, we caused another mistake as we playing the ball through. We have a tactical matchup that we must take advantage of. Our wingback needs to recognize it when our center backs have the ball and open up. Instead, we stay tight. Our center back plays the ball the way he's supposed to, and we rush to keep the ball inbound, but we end up giving away the throw-in immediately on our own half. So once again, decision making, tactical awareness has to be a must. Communication has to be there at all times. That way we can evaluate our decision better, and we can make better plays on the ball by keeping the ball close to our feet as much as possible and finding the spaces that Blackhawks are going to leave behind, and that will help us score more goals. Let's remember that in this first half, we only found the net one time versus multiple opportunities that they had on our half to find the net. But once again, lucky for us, they were very inaccurate on the passing patterns, and on finishing, they didn't do a good job. Here we have another mental breakdown coming up as we are getting ready to receive the ball. Instead of making a one-touch pass to the right, we attempt to dribble instead of passing the ball immediately, and we just don't dribble. We would dribble to their strong side and not our strong side, giving the ball away on a counter attack. Once again, we were lucky enough that they missed that opportunity. But this is what we're talking about decision making. If we have to decide whenever it's needed to play one touch, two touch, and when we do have the space to dribble, that way we don't put ourselves in a situation that we have to sprint backwards to attempt a stop at a shooting play. Here we have another breakdown. We have to be mindful of this. Number 9 receives the ball. Instead of playing short to Tyler, he wants to find the space, but Noah's too far away to make the run. Since Noah was already 5 yards from the closest defender, we lose the ball. We were able to clean it, and they send it out of bounds. But we need to make better decisions by the 9 all the way to the goalkeeper. These free kicks we need to take full advantage of. We cannot give the ball away this easy. We need to put some air on those balls, make sure that it meets the second post. That way we can take full advantage of it. We just gave up a free kick here on this instance because we didn't impact the ball properly. We need to maintain focus at all times. And our technical execution needs to be to point if we want to pass into the finals, especially against a good team that are the Blackhawks. Yes, they're conceited. Yes, they think too highly of themselves, but we can use that to our advantage if we stay humble and we stay working throughout the game and we stay focused to make very little mental mistakes, and we can be tactically aware and don't lose our references going forward or going backwards. Here we're coming on to another mental mistake. Here we need to recognize the 1v2 against us, and we need to support our defender so the 1v2 is not available. Lucky for us, they didn't recognize it either, but we are able to see it, and we need to take full advantage of it and not give them any breaks at all. Here we're coming up to another situation during the game that we need to be smarter about. We took full advantage of their mistake, right? We were able to strike the ball properly and got the first goal. It came from a mental mistake, a mental breakdown on their behalf, and we need to be aware of those mental breakdowns so we don't make the same mistakes. They were overconfident. They thought they were gonna be able to dribble it out of bounds with no problem, or dribble built from the back, even though we were pressuring. Christian was able to take full advantage of that situation. They got us our first goal in the first half. Here we come across another breakdown that we have. Instead of passing the ball backwards to Tyler, we choose to dribble. The backwards pass still happens, but it happens a little bit late. If we would have sent it earlier to Tyler, we could have built up from that point on and not have to drop all the way back to our defense. Here we run to another one. When Robbie plays Aiden, Robbie needs to go to the wing and support Aiden. So Aiden, instead of going forward looking for the cross when it's not there, he can play it wide to Robbie, and then we can reset from there and build out or find the cross immediately to the second post. So our wingbacks needs to be aware when we play the wingers, we need to support. Here we do a good job at opening up. Will receives, Robbie opens up, but Will needs to make a better decision on the ball. He has two immediate targets, instead he chooses to go long. And once we go long, we don't control the ball and play it back to Tyler immediately. Instead, we wanted to one touch it forward that we end up giving the ball away because of that. So we have to keep the ball before we can do something positive with. Here we have another build out 3v1 that we should be able to take full advantage of, right? One touch wall passing. Instead of that, we want to dribble again. We want to dribble when we are in the middle third. We end up almost losing the ball. Jay, after losing the ball and making the wrong decision, presses enough to makes the guy go backwards. But if we would have went for the 1.12 touch on the ball, wall passing, we would have kept the ball. Instead, now we have to fight for it again and we have to try to get it. Here we're coming up to another situation when we need to be smarter with the ball. We have the pass immediately through the wing. We have to recognize it and we have to come and get it. Here we're coming up to another situation. We have the ball. We have space to play the forward. As the 10 receives it, he has two immediate targets. Instead of playing those two targets, we decide to dribble the ball and end up losing it in the middle of the field, giving possession away to the Blackhawks. Lucky for us, we were able to clean up. Here we have another situation where we don't make the right decision. We have a drop back immediately. Instead, we want to go forward over the top and don't end up doing nothing positive with the ball because we didn't make the right decision. Here we have another build up, wing backs opening up. Center back takes too long sending the ball, and when he does send it, we have a one-touch pass that Jay can take full advantage of. To Aiden, instead, he chooses to dribble. We have to recognize the space. This is one of the instances where we defended the play very well. They tried to counterattack us, but our defense was very focused, very disciplined on the back. Here we're coming up to another situation where we could have made better decisions. Connor on the ball. He has immediate targets that he can play to. He have Brent, he has Landon, and we can move the ball properly. Instead, we choose to dribble. High pressure, end up losing the ball when we could have made something positive out of that play. Here we have another situation. Brent needs to release the ball sooner, an accurate pace so we can find the passing lane. Instead, he gives the ball late and weak and ends up giving the ball away to the Blackhawks, which in return attempt a counterattack from the midfield into our goal area. On this one, Noah finds the shot. It needed to be a little bit sooner, but he found the shot. If he would have found it sooner, the shot probably would have been with better pace. As you notice, I started slowing down the film a little bit so we can see our mistakes clear. The video is no longer playing at a regular speed. That way we can see our decision making better. If we keep improving our decision making and our soccer IQ keeps growing, we are going to become a better team and we have a chance of winning the semifinal game versus the Blackhawks as long as we remain humble. We have another situation here that we need to take full advantage of. This number 10 only has a right foot. He will always go to his right foot. I don't know why we keep diving to the left. And here we need to watch the runs on the back door. On this past plays, you can see both Will and Robbie did a good cover and balance that was able to win us the ball back. But here we have another mental breakdown. As we are getting the ball, we have a first touch pass to Josh. Instead, we want to put it over the ball, over the head, and get a bad touch. We need to run through the ball, then play it to our second center back so we can secure the ball. Instead, we had a shot. Luckily for us, Brayson was able to take full advantage of it and cover the goal, made himself big, and no goal. We need to make better decisions on that one, run through the ball, play the ball to the second center back, and that way we clean the area immediately. Here we have another situation coming up where we need to take full advantage of. Goalkeeper, you have to have this ball. You cannot let the ball bounce in front of you and land on the striker. Luckily for us, Robbie was there to clean the area. But goalkeepers, Angel and Bryson, any ball in the air needs to be yours before it hits the ground. Here we're getting closer to another situation that we caused. We received the ball. Instead of playing the gap that we see immediately, instead we choose to dribble forward. We have two immediate passing patterns that we can choose. We attempt to dribble forward and we end up losing the ball. Defense does what they're supposed to. We need to be smarter on our decision making. We need to pass if passing is easier and dribble only on the attacking third or if we have a lot of space in front of us. Here we have another situation. We have a nice pretty pass. We need to keep this ball, guys. We cannot let the ball run away from us or bounce away from us. We need to keep that. Here we're coming up to another situation where we need to make better decision. We need to keep this ball. We already have the ball. We need to hide the ball on the outside foot. Instead, we decide to switch it to the inside, and the defender who has longer legs than we do ends up winning the ball. Here we do a better job at defending. We clear the ball. We have better reference on what they're doing. They attempt a bicycle kick that's unsuccessful. Here, goalkeepers, you need to make a better decision with the ball. We have three guys immediately on the gaps behind the defenders. Instead, we go for the long kick when a throw in, a long throw should have been sufficient for us to keep the ball. Luckily for us, they hit the ball out of bounds and it comes right back to us. Here, another one, we need to keep it. Better decision, better touch on the ball. give it back to the guy throwing in, and that way we keep it and we still maintain possession of it. We're coming up to another instance where we need to make better decisions. Once again, this guy only has a right foot. Don't dive to his left. He's always going to go to the right. Here we cause a foul that we should have been able to take care of because he always goes to his right. Number 10, Blackhawk, only goes towards his right. He will not go left. He doesn't have a left foot at all. On this corner kick, the six needs to stay outside the box at all times, around the top of the key. That way, when the ball is headed, you have immediately access to it and you can knock it back in. Everybody was inside the box on this corner kick. Unluckily for us, it was called a foul, an offensive foul. Here we're coming up to another situation where we could make better decisions on the ball. Here we have it. We can play wide to Noah. Instead, we go back to where we just came from and give the ball away immediately right after it. Here we come across another situation where we can make better decisions on the ball. We have the time, we have to keep it. We cannot give the ball away that quick. We caused a foul because we didn't keep the ball instantly when we had it the first time. Here we have another instance where we need to take full advantage of. We need to be aware where the ball is and where our teammates are so we can play a one-touch pass into the wing. Instead, we missed the ball completely, giving it away right in front of the goal. Luckily for us, bad shot. Focus, guys. Focus is a requirement to win state or to at least make it to the finals. Here we're coming up to another situation where we don't take full awareness of where we are tactically. Tall guy once again by himself going in, has a shot on the goal, but misses completely. Tactical awareness, guys, must be a must. We need to have everybody accounted for, especially that tall guy that they always look for on the corner kicks, especially on the back post. Here we have another nice build up from the back. Robbie opens up, plays to a 6. In this instance, the 6 needs to keep the ball, find 19, find Noah. Instead, we go forward. Lucky for us, Blackhawk player decided to make their handball, which gave us the ball right back. But we need to make better decision, guys. Through this game, if you notice, the one thing that remains the same is our decision making. When to dribble, when to pass, lifting our head up so we can see the open guys to make the proper decision immediately so we can be more effective at possessing the ball and avoid giving them scoring opportunities. Like in this instance, we forget the ball and the ball comes right back to us. Here, once again, on the opposite wing, we decide to dribble the ball instead of passing it first. We lose the ball and now we have to fight to get it back. And we coming up to another play where we can make better decisions here on the ball. Right, we decide to dribble instead of finding the passing lane. We had Noah and we have Brand immediately available. Instead, we dribble. We make an inaccurate pass at the end when we're about to lose the ball and give the ball right back. Here we have a situation that we need to be fully aware of the back door at all times. Once again, the tall guy comes in by himself. He doesn't connect with the ball. And gives it right back to us, but we have to be aware of the situations as they come available. The back door is where they look to be the most dangerous. Here, better decision making, right? We have 2v1 and we lose the ball. We cannot have that happen, guys. If we are going to press that high immediately with two guys, we need to get the ball. The ball needs to be ours. Here, another decision making mistake, right? We choose to dribble instead of passing the ball immediately. And we end up losing the ball once again. Here we have another situation, back door coming in. Defenders unaware of it. He could have been offside, but we still have to make sure that they don't get in. And if they do get in, we have to follow them and be on their way so they can't shoot comfortably on frame. We have to be better than them. Here we have another situation, guys, coming on. Back door once again. Unaware of it. Guy doesn't make good contact with the ball. Tall guy always is going to look for that back post at all times. So we need to be better than this, guys, if we want to win this semifinal game.